So my name is Emily Cherniack, and I'm the Deputy Finance Director at the Casey campaign. I came here because I was Alan's, I worked at Be the Change with Alan, and I was a founding staff member for that organization. And then he told me he was running for Senate, or was thinking of running for the Senate. And I said, sign me up, I'm with you. And so then I, with him, came over to help him with this campaign. I'm a proud City Year alumni, as we say at City Year. I served in the Boston Corps from 2001, and City Year totally changed my life, and it saved my life in a lot of ways. It taught me how to be a leader. You know, I was kind of this really insecure kid who didn't really know her place in the world and just didn't know, I didn't know where I was going, I didn't know what I was doing, and I randomly found this website that said, get up, get coffee, and change the world. And I thought that sounded really cool. And Boston sounded like a cool city to live in. So I signed up, and it was just literally the best decision that I've ever made in my life. And City Year, you know, really pushed me to be a leader. And it took someone who was totally terrified of public speaking and put her out in front of a crowd and made her lead people. So that was, and there are not a lot of organizations that I think do that to young people, which is why I think Alan he's extraordinary for many reasons, but I think his most extraordinary gift is his belief in people and leadership and what you can do when you give someone the opportunity to step up. And City Year not only was life-changing for me, but it changes lives for communities. And so I saw during my year of service how we can impact the world. And I think it really created for me a path to do social justice work and change work that I don't think I would have found otherwise. And for every one of me, there's 1,000 of me every year at City Year. And so I think Alan and his vision of a world that ought to be and a world that can be through using organizations like City Year was really powerful. For me, Alan will make an incredible senator for a lot of reasons, but I think for me, as someone who's never been involved in politics and for the first time is doing a political campaign, I signed up for this because I think his vision for our country and his framework and approach for how we can solve our most pressing problems is, I think, one of the most unique and extraordinary characteristics about who he is. And he has a way of getting things done that I've never seen anyone else do. At Be the Change, Alan had this vision of, he's like, we're gonna make national service, we're gonna expand it, we want 1 million people in service, or we want to expand it a lot. And at the time, it was a recession, things weren't passing through legislation, nothing was happening. Especially, I was like, no one's going to care about service. We need to solve education, and there's poverty, and there's a war. That's just crazy. And he's like, no, we're going to get the 2 presidential candidates on a stage to talk about national service, and then we're going to pass legislation in the first 100 days of the presidential administration, of the new administration. And that was his vision from the very beginning of Be the Change. And I thought, that's unreal. I'm happy to work on it, but I just don't know if that's really possible. And sure enough, on September 11th in 2008, we had John McCain and President Obama on a stage together talking about service. And then on April 21st, the Serve America Act passed, where we expanded service to 250,000 slots, which was the largest expansion since FDR when he created the Civilian Conservation Corps. And that just was insane that happened, and yet it was really Alan's vision that created that movement, and he built a movement to make it happen. And so he always does the impossible, and he does things that no one else thinks can happen, and he does things that change the world for the better. So I think that is a unique quality that will make him a great senator.
Now we need to get out the vote.
Okay.
Come be a volunteer and get out the vote.
Okay. So December 8th is quickly approaching, and we need you. We need you to get out the vote. We need you to volunteer. We need you to donate. We need you to knock on doors. We need you to make phone calls. And we need you to vote for Alan, because he is the best candidate, and he needs to be a senator because our country will be better for it. So please vote for Alan Casey on December 8th.